Jordan Peterson is a Canadian psychologist and professor who has become a popular cultural figure due to his unique insights into human psychology and behavior. In particular, his views on suffering and gratitude have resonated with many people. Peterson believes that we can use gratitude to transform our suffering into a source of strength and resilience. He argues that if we can embrace the difficult moments in our lives, we can use them to become more fully alive and connected to ourselves and the people around us. His philosophies on gratitude in the face of suffering provide valuable insight into how we can move through difficult times with courage, hope, and acceptance. With his help, we can learn to make the most of life's challenging moments and find solace and strength in the face of suffering. How gratitude can transform suffering. When we understand the benefits of gratitude, we can begin to understand how it can transform our suffering. While no one likes to experience suffering, it's a part of life. We all have moments of grief, disappointment, uncertainty, and sadness in our lives, and sometimes these feelings can linger for a long time. Suffering can be both physical and emotional, and it can stem from a wide variety of causes, including major life transitions such as the loss of a loved one, divorce, or job loss. We can also experience suffering as a result of smaller, more everyday difficulties such as health issues, relationship problems, or financial struggles. While we can't completely avoid suffering, we can decide how we respond to it. When we can use gratitude to transform our suffering, we can move forward with more strength and hope. This doesn't mean that the suffering goes away or that you won't feel it. It means you can use it to become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Gratitude can help us to see the silver lining in even the darkest moments. It can help us to discover deeper meaning in our experience and to grow as individuals. By approaching life with gratitude, we can transform our suffering into something more positive. Peterson's views on suffering and resilience. Jordan Peterson sees suffering as a fundamental part of being human, and he believes that we have the power to transform it into something more positive. He doesn't believe that we can completely avoid suffering, but he does believe that we can learn to embrace and transcend it. Peterson's philosophy is based on the idea that humans are fundamentally resilient and resourceful. We can endure hardship, bounce back from challenges, and turn suffering into something meaningful. He believes that we can build our resilience by practicing gratitude. By embracing gratitude in the face of suffering, we can take control of our lives and make the most of our experiences. We don't have to be victims of pain and grief. We can use the gifts we've been given to find strength and resilience in the wake of adversity. Embracing difficult moments with courage. Jordan Peterson believes that we can't avoid suffering, but we can choose how we respond to it. When we are faced with difficult life circumstances, it can be challenging to stay positive and grateful. Instead of hanging on to resentment or ruminating on what's wrong in our lives, we can choose to embrace the challenge with courage and hope. When we learn to embrace the difficult moments in our lives, we become stronger and more courageous individuals. We can use our pain to build empathy and understanding for others, and we can make room for joy and gratitude in our lives even when times are tough. By embracing the moments of uncertainty, risk, and pain in our lives, we can turn them into opportunities for growth and connection with other people. Suffering doesn't have to be something to be ashamed of or something that isolates us from one another. Instead, we can choose to embrace it with courage and hope and use it to enrich our lives. Finding strength in the face of suffering. We can't avoid suffering, but we don't have to let it define us or turn us into a completely different person. We can take ownership of our hardships and use them to build a stronger and wiser version of ourselves. We can use our suffering to become more compassionate, empathetic, and resilient people. Peterson believes that we can use our suffering to turn our weaknesses into strengths. We can use our pain as motivation to build a better future for ourselves and for others. We are more than our suffering. It is a part of who we are, but it doesn't have to be the entirety of our story. By taking responsibility for our pain and using it to build strength and resilience, we can create a narrative around our suffering that is more empowering and inspiring. Instead of being overcome by our challenges, we can use them to become better versions of ourselves. The importance of self-acceptance. To fully embrace gratitude in the face of suffering, we have to be able to accept who we are. Peterson believes that we all have strengths and weaknesses, and he thinks that the key to using suffering as a source of growth is self-acceptance. We can't fully use our pain for growth if we're not willing to accept who we are. This doesn't mean that we have to like everything about ourselves. Instead, we have to accept that our mistakes and shortcomings are a part of us. We need to accept that we will experience challenges, disappointments, and pain in our lives. However, we also need to accept that we have the power to turn these challenges into something meaningful. We can use our suffering to become better, more compassionate people. Benefits of gratitude in challenging moments. When we face difficulties in our lives, we can either let it completely define us or we can use it as an opportunity to transform our experiences into something more positive. By choosing to see our challenges as opportunities, we can find strength and hope in even the most difficult moments. We can also use gratitude to make these challenging experiences more meaningful. Instead of feeling defeated by our challenges, we can use gratitude to enrich our lives and draw strength and resilience from our experiences. By looking for the gifts and meaningful connections in our experiences, we can turn our challenges into strengths. By choosing gratitude, we can transform our suffering into something positive. How to apply Peterson's philosophies to everyday life. These are only a few of Peterson's philosophies on gratitude in the face of suffering. To apply these philosophies to your life, it's important to keep a few things in mind. First, suffering is a normal part of life, and you can't avoid it entirely. Second, you have the power to transform your suffering into something more positive. Third, you have to be willing to accept yourself to fully benefit from your pain. Peterson's philosophies may seem simple, but they require a lot of work. They require self-reflection, acceptance, and a willingness to engage with your pain. However, they can also be incredibly rewarding. By using gratitude to transform your suffering, you can take control of your life and make the most of your experiences, even during the darkest times.